In today's video, we'll be taking a look at more of Marvel's canceled games. Here we explore some of the almost classic games that we could have gotten, featuring some of our favorite heroes and also some lesser known heroes. Thank you for joining me for part 2, and let's get right into it. We begin with Ghost Rider for the PS1. Marvel planned to release a game surrounding Ghost Rider back in the middle to late 90s. But not much about his plot details are known. There are a couple of screenshots of the game out there, as there was a demo created to showcase some of the game's mechanics that they were working on. The game was to be developed by Neversoft Entertainment and published by Crystal Dynamics. The reason for the cancellation, according to many sources, is believed to be the name recognition. Apparently, during the time the game was being worked on, not many people were aware of the existence of Ghost Rider, especially in pop culture. Unless you were a die-hard fan of Marvel Comics, you probably didn't know who he was or what he did. Another reason attributed to its cancellation was the genre of the game that it was set in. It was a side-scrolling game, which, like I've mentioned before, was kind of running its course. Apparently, someone at Crystal Dynamics tried to save the game, but it was turned down by the higher-ups due to them believing that the only way the game could succeed is if it went fully 3D. And for number 2, we have Iron Man PS2. Once again, not much is known about the plot details behind this Iron Man game. However, we do know that it was in development sometime in the early 2000s. It is believed to have begun development around 2003, and it was to be worked on by Z-Axis Games. They would apparently be working on 2 Marvel games at the same time. One would have been the never released Iron Man game, and the other one was X-Men, the official game, which did release, and it came out back in 2006. Z-Axis was working alongside Activision to publish both of these games, but it's believed that it may have become too difficult to work on both games at the same time, and a tough decision had to be made. Activision decided to cancel the Iron game and fully focus on X-Men. I also believe that this was due to popularity, as this was pre-Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, and really no one thought of him as a big or even a well-known hero up to that point. While by 2006 you already had the X-Men movies and Hugh Jackman bringing Wolverine to life, so the safe game was always X-Men. There are a couple of images out there that can give you some idea of what the game could have been. And for our final game, we have Marvel Chaos PS3. Marvel Chaos was supposed to be a fighting action game developed by EA Chicago and published by their parent company EA. It was set to release for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 consoles. No plot details were ever released, but the game was to focus on intense fighting and destructible environments. The game was to feature many of Marvel characters from the comics, and some of these included Juggernaut, Captain America, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Hulk, and many more. Apparently, Marvel Chaos was cancelled due to EA Chicago, the development team behind the game, not meeting the standards set by parent company EA. They announced that EA Chicago would be closing down as they wouldn't be profitable until the year 2011. They said that the studio was responsible for meeting the standards that they set. So with the development team closing, the game would be cancelled and never mentioned again, until a couple of years later when a prototype for the game leaked. I also remember that in 2005, Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects released, and it was so bad that Marvel and EA decided to part ways, even though they had signed a deal where EA was going to develop a bunch of new Marvel fighting games. So I'm not sure if this had anything to do with it, but I believe that this might have been another reason that Marvel Chaos was ultimately cancelled. Now, I covered that topic a little bit more in my Retro Chamber video, where we dive a little bit deeper into the 2005 Marvel game. However, this concludes our second look into some of Marvel's cancelled video games. There are still many more Marvel games out there that were ultimately scrapped. I will continue to look for more until we find all of them. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your support. If you enjoyed this cancelled game series, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in our next video.